now I would like to turn to Mr. Robert Woodthorpe Browne, who is the Vice President and member of the Bureau of Liberal International. Liberal International is the grouping which CALD belongs to within the liberal family. Mr. Woodthorpe Browne is also the chairman of the International Relations Committee of the Liberal Democrats of the United Kingdom. Today he is the link between us in Asia and liberals in Europe. The floor is yours, Robert.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to visit this wonderful country for the first time. And it is obviously has a great improvement on England, because the head of our civil service in the wonderful program Yes, Prime Minister was Sir Humphrey Appleby, and he talked the sort of English that you could never understand, and I understood every word that you said, Excellency. I firstly would like to bring you greetings on behalf of our new President of Liberal International, Hans van Baalen, MEP, who unfortunately has got parliamentary duties which prevented him from being here. The normal member of the LI Bureau that you would expect to see here, of course, is Bikin Xiao, and I apologize I haven't got the pronunciation right, but she is busy fighting by-elections in Taiwan, and so you have got me instead. I've been asked to report on the last Congress which the Liberal International had in Cairo. In fact, we have congresses every 18 months, and this was an interesting one because it was preceded by a visit to the Alexandria Library. Now, for those of you who are history students, the great libraries of Alexandria go back to pharaonic times and were then taken over by the Romans. It is said that the Muslims sacked the library. This is not true. It was Coptic Christians who then blamed the Muslims for it. But it is now being re-established under an extremely wise Egyptian leading it, who had been brought back from the United States. And they have got a project on, linked to America, and there will be 2 or other major centers as well, interlinked, of computers which are recording every website in the world for the last 15 years. Websites come and go, so this will be a permanent record going on forever, hopefully, of all the knowledge that is accumulated under the websites, and which is going to be it is researchable from anybody, and you can do it from your own laptops. This is quite an amazing project, which is very well advanced, and it is going to allow human knowledge to remain available to all, for every country, forevermore. Anyway, Liberal International at this Congress has 100 parties and cooperating organizations, including, of course, CALD, as was mentioned earlier. And some 300 delegates from these these organizations turned up in Cairo. The host party was the Democratic Front, a fairly new party, and it was admitted as a full member after they and the other 2 liberal parties in Egypt strenuously denied any links to anti-Semitism. The theme was similar to this week's. It was education in the 21st century. And the rapporteur was Senator David Coulthard of Zimbabwe, who reported on the ruins of the education system in his country, an object lesson of the effects of tyranny and a destroyed economy. I chaired a session dealing with resolutions proposed by member organizations, and these included notably the environment, which is maybe primarily a European concern, in that it was the European parties that were so keen, but in fact there was a lot of intervention from Asian, Latin American and African delegates who were also keen that the principles of resulting from global warming, climate change, could really affect the third world before it affected the first. There were also sessions, which we have every time, on what is called the world today. And each continent has resolutions about it, often produced by it. I have a whole list of resolutions which came from CALD members. You probably wrote half of them yourselves. They went through. I have the text here, and I'm not going to bore you for the next 20 minutes with reading them, but they were very valuable and expressed the concerns endorsed by liberals worldwide to the problems, in the specific problems in the countries which are represented here today. During the conference, the Congress, the Democratic Party of Thailand was the latest to be admitted as a full member of Liberal International. Hans van Baalen, as I mentioned earlier, took over as president from Lord John Alderdice, whose huge profile in conflict resolution is known to all. He has worked in this area, he has worked in Northern Ireland most especially, but he's worked in Peru, Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. Hans promises to be a very active president, and he started his presidency with visits to Honduras and Nicaragua in Central America. He had the distinction of being expelled by President Ortega from Nicaragua after he had already left the country. His deputy is now Julie Minoves Trinquel, the foreign minister of Andorra, and Vi Kim Xiao is still the only CALD regional representative. We are awaiting nominations from the African Liberal Network, the Arab Liberals, and Relial, the Latin American grouping. And there are still too many Europeans on the Bureau, as was pointed out at Cairo, and I fully agree with that. So details of all Cairo resolutions and subsequent activities can be found on the LI website, and I do recommend that you consult it on a regular basis. I do hope that you do receive, all of you, Thursday tin from Liberal International Secretariat, giving the activities and the events affecting liberals worldwide, and that comes out every Thursday. Future meetings include the 200th anniversary celebration of the first liberal constitution, first ever liberal constitution in Cadiz later this month. Little history lesson there. This was really upset Mr. Napoleon Bonaparte, who made King Fernando abolish it as a condition for regaining his throne. However, it has been adopted as the main basis for the constitutions of all Latin American countries, which were liberated shortly afterwards. The next executive committee meeting will be in Berlin in late May, and this is to celebrate the advent of our sister party, or our member party, the Free Democrats, to the German government. And the following one will be in Cape Town, South Africa in November. The Congress next year will be probably held in Panama, I would think about April or May, and we hope that the late 2012 Congress will be held in a CALD member country, but you have to invite us. Liberal International awards an annual Freedom Prize, and previous recipients have included Martin Lee of Hong Kong and Sam Rainsy, our chairman today. I recall very much the moving speech he gave upon receiving his award in Marrakesh a few years back. This, for 2010, we come back to Asia, and the Iranian human rights lawyer, Dr. Shirin Ebadi, who is a Nobel Peace Laureate as well, will receive her prize in Brussels later this year, and I hope that some of you may be able to attend. Liberal International is in very good heart, but is conscious that there are many countries in this region without member parties or organizations, including in the largest democracy of the world to the north of here. We will do everything possible to make the movement even more representative here and throughout the world, and especially in Asia. As Martin Lee said, there is no such thing as Asian democracy. This is a concept of tyrants to entrench their undemocratic control in the same way. Liberal ideas of human rights and liberty belong to every society on this planet.